Good afternoon, preppers. Welcome to Goshen Prepping. You have to understand that right now there is a war going on. And I'm not talking about Russia and Ukraine or Taiwan, China, all that. No, I'm talking about a war on our way of life. And we need to raise awareness because the government believes, under the guise of climate change, that everything must be switched to electric. And we have no choice in the matter. And that's exactly the end of their story, and they're not budging on this. And that's where everything's heading. And this is more detrimental than you think. The ramifications are huge. You need to stay to the end because I need you to see what is truly going on here. And it is going to affect, make no mistake, every single one of us. And it's going to establish a new normal. Now, having a new normal of electric way down the road is probably smart. But unfortunately, in the meantime, it's much worse and it's going to be very painful for a lot of us, especially if we actually don't go along with it. But there's far more to it, far more nefarious actions going on here where, this new normal is not going to be great. And we have to understand what's coming because you know what? It's already on its way. And all those things around us are heading in that direction. Again, this progression is all based on climate change. We have a bunch of articles. We're just going to glance through them. The first one, government urged to ban wood-burning stoves by 2027. And this is Britain. Of course, it affects us too. Next article, California wood-burning fireplace law, as they're trying to enact it. So eventually they will have no wood-burning fireplaces or stoves there. Wood stove and fireplace ban looms in New York State. These are all new articles, by the way, because they've actually, touched on this a few times. And they're actually making it worse because, look, here's firewood rules they actually have in place. Untreated firewood may not be imported into New York. Untreated firewood grown in New York may not be transported more than 50 miles. And if transporting untreated firewood for personal use, you must still fill out a self-issued certificate of origin. It's insane how they try to push these ridiculous laws. But again, there's actually a full reason for all of this, and that's what we're heading to. This push is that we're all doing this normal day stuff is causing the climate to worsen. All those things you and I are doing are making things worse, and it's going to kill all of us. And that's why they're pushing it, because they believe that overall, because of cars and because of fireplaces and wood stoves and all these things, it's changing the climate, which is going to eradicate mankind. They truly believe this because of the release of CO2. Let's not even mention that, trees and plants and stuff breathe in CO2. All right, so anything that's going to be burned, wood stoves, fireplaces, etc., are all going to be eventually outlawed. Not right away. It's a slow progression. They do this very slowly, so that way people will not completely rebel. Also, natural gas bans are now the new front in effort to curb emissions. Look at this. Lawmakers in New York are considering the nation's first statewide ban on natural gas connections in new buildings after dozens of local governments have passed similar policies. So obviously, not just wood stoves. And understand when I come back to wood stoves again, that even if your local municipalities allow wood stoves, corporate is getting involved in this, making it so your insurance company may not actually cover your home if you have a wood stove there. But natural gas, too, is also the new evil. It's funny how natural gas is always looked at as being the clean burning energy, but oh no, it's still polluting our atmosphere and causing climate change. Unused and useless, states must act now to end flawed natural gas power plant buildouts. And look at their thinking. Natural gas won't solve the climate crisis. Industry will only become less profitable and inefficient, joining oil as yet another energy source of the past. Of the past? Oil is still here. We depend on it every day. And the journalist who wrote that article, I'm sure, drove his car in. It's crazy how they already have this mentality that oil, that's so yesterday, let's get rid of all of it. So what we're already seeing because of this is a push to try to get everything electric, even cars too, obviously. Electric vehicle trends to watch in 2023. Rising gasoline prices have made electric vehicles appealing to many drivers. Notice what they're making very clear here, that rising gas prices are pushing people into electric cars. I mentioned this like a month or two ago, that that's their plan overall. Because you have to understand Biden and his puppeteers who are pulling the strings are doing everything they can to try to push people into the situation where people will think they have no choice but to go into electric cars. And by one means, axing the Keystone XL pipeline cost thousands of jobs, billions of dollars, Energy Department says. Biden's cancellation of the pipeline would have carried 800,000 barrels of oil per day from Canada to the Gulf Coast. 800,000 barrels a day. Let's not even talk about rising gas prices, which, by the way, they are going up. They're projected to go up again very soon. But instead, Biden continuously pulls millions of barrels from our strategic reserve and actually not doing anything to try to replenish it or try to bring gas to the United States. It was all planned. This is all purposely put there, not for the environment, not even per climate change per se, but to get people to change to electric. They want to make it so you can't have anything. But you know what? You haven't seen anything yet. California dreaming? Not anymore. Nope. Experts welcome aggressive move toward electric vehicles, but sees one huge mistake policymakers need to avoid. Last month, California regulators passed rules banning the sale of new cars, gas-powered cars, mind you, by 2035. It is a significant victory in the fight against climate change. It's not just California. Oregon, Washington, New York. In fact, 12 states have signed on for the same thing. And actually, it's happening all over the world. 25 countries so far have also signed on to this, including the European Union. Not to mention, California law bans small engines, anything below 25 horsepower, beginning in 2024. Yep, small engines too. If it uses any type of fossil fuels, gas, coal, propane, natural gas, etc., it is ultimately and inevitably going to be banned. But this last article should blow your mind. Worldwide initiatives to ban, not fossil fuel advertisements. This whole article is about this. The louder the call for climate policy, the more the fossil fuel industry advertises. And you know what? It's making them mad. We're looking at in France, laws that ban fossil fuel ads. Campaigns for a law that bans fossil fuel ads are all these different countries. Parliamentary initiatives for a law that bans fossil fuel ads. Local government initiatives, the list goes on and on. I mean, look at this. It's crazy. All of these countries are now not simply just trying to eliminate fossil fuels. This is the thought place. I mean, I thought this was supposed to happen in 1984. It's happening now. Even just thinking about fossil fuels, advertising about it is now being banned. That's crazy. It reminds me often of all the ads going out to stop cigarette smoking, which I get. I mean, even though we have technically a free country, you can smoke if you want to, they actually banned it by secondhand smoke because, you know what, your neighbor doesn't want to inhale your smoky fumes. So now they're doing the same thing. Let's not even actually talk about fossil fuels because how else can we eliminate it? What else produces CO2? Because that's what it comes down to is anything that produces carbon dioxide is now going to be banned. So we talked about engines, gases, wood stoves, the list goes on and on. What else produces this deadly CO2? I'll give you a hint. You see it every single day. Yep, us. And here's where the nefarious acts come in. Mankind is the final puzzle piece in this. This shiny electric new world they're building eventually will not contain you and me. You see, this is not a war on our way of life, as a lot of people are thinking. Actually, they're even pushing this. No, it's a war on life itself. They actually have no sanctity for human life. And simply eliminating 95% of human life, basically what their ultimate goals are, they're not going to stop anything until that happens. It is coming. It is coming. You need to understand this. And we need to be prepared.